down. We the talk around town. Alex threw the ball to Smokey for a touchdown. It's fourth down and you don't really want no more. We've been winning from the door. You should check the scoreboard. Check the scoreboard.
Welcome back to another episode of The Scoreboard. It's time. It's the big game. We have Super Bowl predictions coming up today. We're also going to talk about Matthew Stafford a little bit. Kind of an unexpected trade that came out of nowhere. Like we were discussing all sorts of possibilities. Wake up the next morning, he's the Los Angeles Ram, and Jared Goff is the Lions. So big developments coming up on that. We're going to talk about it later in the show. But first, it's Super Bowl weekend. It's the big game that we've all been waiting for, and we're going to have our predictions today. Now, for our own predictions game, it's already clear that my hand is forced. I will have to pick against you, whether I believe it or not, because that's the only way that I can tie you in our postseason prediction game. I won in the regular season, want to win the postseason as well. But Smokey, how are you doing today?
Oh, man, I'm good. I'm better than a few. Better than the 49ers fans because they wanted Matt Stafford, as you know.
Yeah, but I also want Deshaun Watson. And I don't want Matthew Stafford for 2 first-rounders. I will say that.
Yeah.
If I give up Jimmy Garoppolo and 2 first-rounders, no, I'm not giving that up for Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, that's steep, man. That's very steep. Well, do you think... Would you value Jimmy Garoppolo over Jared Goff?
I think he's a better quarterback, but... in terms of value, I think they're about equal because Goff is younger and he's gotten hurt less. Now, Garoppolo, we've seen both of them, by the way, go to Super Bowl in the season when they have a good team around them. They're not hurt. They're perfectly capable of doing it. They're very similar players. I think Garoppolo is slightly more of an individual talent. They're on that bubble of can they be relied on to be franchise quarterback or not? I don't know. For Jimmy, the injuries is the big deal, and that's really what it comes down to. If you decide to trade for someone, it's because Garoppolo can't stay healthy, and you have to find someone who can, and that's what it's going to be for Jared Goff. He's fine. He's a starter, but he's nothing exceptional, and we're going to have to see what he does without a Sean McVay type play caller. We haven't really seen him by himself much, so see how that goes. But we'll talk about Matthew Stafford later on. It's time for the Super Bowl. We have the Bucs and the Chiefs. Now, to anyone watching, you can go vote on who you think is going to win, as well as whether Deshaun Watson should be traded or not. On my channel page, I have a poll out there for the entire 2 weeks. Tell me who you think will win the Super Bowl, Chiefs or Bucs, and let me know why. Give me your best argument to why I should agree with your opinion. But go ahead and do that. I'll put a link to that. You can go cast your vote. I will have to ask you, I'm going to ask you right away, who do you got and why?
Well, I am going with the Chiefs here. Why? Because overall, that really is a more dominant offense. Overall, that really is a more dominant quarterback, regardless of what people say. And also in storyline, this makes perfect sense right now, doesn't it? That the old GOAT is passing the torch to the new GOAT. This is time, This is Hulk Hogan passing the torch to The Rock, This is the old biggest name in the business and the new biggest name in the business. And
Undertaker and Brock Lesnar.
There you go, yeah. And it is time to pass the torch. I mean, in storyline, it would work out perfectly, but to say that, you would have to say that maybe there's something shady going on here. But even if there's not, which I really don't believe there is, but it's a good, good storyline to think about. But I think it'll be all on the up and up, and I think overall the Chiefs have a much stronger offense than the Bucs. Now, we know that the Bucs defense is much better, and they are run stoppers, probably one of the best teams in the business for stopping the run. But the good thing is we don't need that with the Chiefs. They do not stop the pass like that, and Patrick Mahomes can just pass on every single play if he wants to. He's capable of doing that, and he has receivers that will go downfield and get it because they are 3 of the top 10 fastest receivers in the league right there on the team. So overall, this breaks down to where the Chiefs should win this handily. The only X factor is Tom Brady loves fourth quarter comebacks, and you never know what happens once the defense is so gassed that they can't stop anything. That's when Tom Brady shines. That's how he's always made his hay. I think if you were to take the first half of every game that Tom Brady's ever played, he is less than mediocre. Like all of them, if you just added it all up, I don't think Tom Brady's a mediocre quarterback. It's just that fourth quarter that he always finds a way to win in. So that fourth quarter is what makes him the GOAT in a lot of people's eyes, But, yeah, I am going to stick with the Chiefs. The Chiefs should win this one. It should be much like last season's Super Bowl. I mean, I see the game script going, a lot like that. So we'll see.
So of course you're forcing me to pick Tampa Bay, which for the record I'll take that right away. I hereby officially pick the Bucs to win the Super Bowl at their own house. But I will note that if I had free choice in this matter, de facto free choice, I would also pick Kansas City. For very similar reasons as you've already mentioned. They are maybe not the more complete team, because the Bucs are arguably the most complete team, the most complete roster. We saw that come out in the championship game. But the Chiefs are a better version of the Packers in many different ways, in that they're incredible. Their strength is an MVP, all-time talent quarterback. They have a better receiving core to support that quarterback, and they have a much better defense to go with that quarterback. Now, their defense isn't anything special. Their defense is average, maybe a little above average. You can look at their defensive line, Chris Jones. They have a good pass rush. Mm-hmm. Their defense is fine. You look at the Packers. I've said it. I say it seemingly every week, but the Packers are a bottom 5 roster talent-wise in the league, and without Aaron Rodgers, they would win 4 games every season. So the Chiefs, very similarly built, much stronger in their execution. There's a phenomenal roster built around the quarterback, also their head coach. Similar style, similar ideas, similar school of offense, much more experience, and a more balanced offense as well. That the Packers try to run the ball, they try to play defense, special teams. Doesn't work out. Didn't work out against a team that's good enough, like the Bucs. They couldn't beat them. Didn't work out last year in a very similar situation. And so I think the Chiefs should win. Of course, officially I picked the Bucs because I have to. Here's a stat I'll give for you. Looking at quarterback performances, because a lot of people like to talk about that from the championship weekend. Passer ratings: Patrick Mahomes 120, Aaron Rodgers 105, Josh Allen 90, Tom Brady 73. The worst passer rating of the weekend. In fact, Tom Brady was the worst Tampa Bay Buccaneers starter on the field throughout the entire NFC Championship game. 4 completions, 3 interceptions in the entire second half. Comeback, GOAT? Didn't see it. I did not see it in that game, and that is something that you cannot do against the Kansas City Chiefs, because I mentioned they're better, and the Packers will let you do it, because the Packers, they have one receiver that you have to double cover. They have people dropping the ball in the end zone wide open for 2-point conversions. They have cornerbacks who are gonna get burned on deep end zone fakes by freaking Freddy, who works down restocking the pasta sauce at Walmart for a living. They cannot compete with a well-rounded roster. The Chiefs are different. They can do it. They have defensive backs. They have more than enough receivers to pose trouble to any defense. And the Buccaneers defense might be the best in the league at this point, but this offense can torch anyone, because they faced a bunch of the best defenses in the league in last year's playoffs and this year's playoffs too. They have Buffalo. So yeah. I'm making the argument, obviously, for the Chiefs to win. They should win the game.
That's what I do, man. That's my tactic.
I know, but I am convinced of that. Now, hopefully I jinxed it enough with the Buccaneers win, so I can at least get the draw here. Also, unfortunately, we didn't make any of the bets. Of course, you had a really good shot, really good equity with the Packers against the Bills, 18-1 odds. Unfortunate.
It didn't happen.
It should have been the Packers. Yeah. I don't know if it should have been the Bills. I think the Bills were worse.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look back, like the Chiefs' offense was just unstoppable. But the only problem I had with it is that so were the Bills' offense leading up to that game. And the Chiefs were not the Chiefs of last year leading up to that game. It's just that they actually flipped the switch and they got it done, whereas the Bills receiving core forgot how to catch passes for some reason.
Absolutely. Lighting out the game plans, I think, for those two teams here for the Super Bowl is for Kansas City is pretty simple. Do what you do. And you play your game. The defense is going to crack. Every defense cracks eventually against this offense. They're going to get you big plays. You can throw it. The Buccaneers' defensive strength is the run, and you mentioned that. And Patrick Mahomes can throw it like he has been doing. Call 50 passing plays. What the heck? Doesn't matter. 400 or 500 yards through the air. If that's what it takes to win the game, that's what it's going to take, because you are outmatching that secondary. Very young secondary, couple rookies starting. They've been good, but inexperienced. And receivers like Tyreek Hill, the weapons you have on offense, not going to cover them all game. For Tampa Bay, it's kind of a difficult spot, because I've said this many times. The way or the philosophy to beat this Chiefs team is very simple, but very, very hard. And what I mean is that it's clear what you have to do. And everybody can tell it's not a very complex system to stop. It's not complicated. Every semi-knowledgeable fan could devise a theoretical plan on how to beat this offense, how to stop this team. The execution is the tough part. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of teams are struggling. A lot of teams have been struggling. That's what it's going to come down to for Tampa. You have to be able to contain this passing game for 4 quarters, and you have to be able to stick with them. On offense, offensive firepower, the talent is there. I don't know if Tom Brady can execute. You're coming into the game having almost just about half the passer rating as the opposing quarterback. Doesn't inspire me with confidence if I'm the Buccaneers fan. But then on the other hand, no one has more Super Bowl experience than Tom Brady. He's the one who's been there. Patrick Mahomes has been there. Patrick Mahomes has been in the league for 3 years. Tom Brady has been going to Super Bowls when Patrick Mahomes went to preschool.
Yes, exactly.
And he's going to have the advantage in the experience department, as he always does. And, head coaches, not a lot of difference there. Both very experienced coaches, obviously.
Great coaching matchup, man. I love this. 2 offensive geniuses, old school offensive geniuses at that. Bruce Arians.
Both looking like Santa Claus. It's crazy.
They do, yeah. With both of them wearing really weird masks or face shield or whatever they're going to break out for this game. But yeah, dude, this is great, though. Like, I want to watch them sumo wrestle too, if that's possible.
Like whenever overtime, there's no winner. They just send the coaches out to the 50.
Yeah, exactly. And they just put a little ring out there, and Arians and Reed just go at it. That'd be awesome.
I would love to see that.
Oh yeah.
that would be a tiebreaker.
Oh yeah, man, it's gonna be good. I mean, I'm over being distraught, I guess, from losing. That not only that bad, I really wanted to see the Bills go to the Super Bowl again, but there'll be more seasons.
They will be back in that spot, no doubt. I think we'll see Bills Chiefs more than just once over the next decade or so. The way it's looking.
Yeah, I think so.
They'll certainly have their spot. Now I don't know if the same could be said about the Packers or the Bucs.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a limited time frame here for the Bucs. I mean, that's what I was wondering. Do you think that Tom Brady actually retires if he loses this year, or does
I don't think he retires. No matter what happens, he doesn't retire. Because if I have this team, like if I have a super team around me, why would I retire?
Yeah, true.
I get free playoffs every single season, and that's when I can work my experience. And I got the super team around me. I can make plays. He doesn't have to be the catalyst to winning games anymore. That's the best spot he can be, and that's what Peyton Manning did. When he came to Denver, he didn't have to win the games. He had to be part of the winning team and not actively lose it. That's where Brady is. No reason to retire if you can physically play.
Yeah, well, but we also have to look at though that Gronk. How is that going to work out? And Chris Carson needs to be paid now, and Mike Evans. How is his situation looking? Some of these receivers are going to need to be paid. I mean, O.J. Howard's coming up on a payment here. He's going to be off that rookie contract soon. So we'll see
You can't keep a team like that together for too long. That's certainly too long. You got a lot of young talent. You got Devin White, the linebacker, Antoine Winfield. They're also going to want money very soon because they've been young players on the rookie deal. They've been balling out. They're going to want money soon. The window is relatively short given the current constellation, but right now this roster is completely stacked. If you can bring it back for another year, you have a good shot of going back to the Super Bowl, and I think it'll be worth it. I think it'll be worth it if you can lock people up. Listen, you have to replace Tom Brady eventually, right? Be it 1 or 2 more years for the long-term future. You have to replace him, but if you have this team, a lot of people, it'll be fine. You could bring back Jameis Winston. You could bring in maybe Jared Goff or draft someone, and you could be fine in the right system. On the other hand, keep going.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't think Bruce Arians likes that. I don't think he doesn't like rookie quarterbacks. If you notice, his MO has always been to go get one of the oldest guys out there and win with him, and he does. He makes the playoffs with Carson, a few years back.
Oh yeah, Carson Palmer. Yeah. He was the one who brought him to Arizona in the first place, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. That's always been his MO, is just to get the old veteran guy and put a team around him that can win, and it works out, But yeah, I guess whoever's going to be available, I think Tom Brady said it a few years back that when he turned 40, as a matter of fact, he's going to play until he's 45. And yeah, that's probably it. He's probably going to make sure that he did not lie in that statement. So definitely coming back next year to at least play through his 44 season, and if he retires in the next off season, then he made it to 45. So
I think Gronk will also be coming back probably. They're having success. He gets he gets his quarterback that he already has chemistry with. He's in an incredible offense where he doesn't get double teamed because he's not the first threat. He's not even the third threat in this offense.
Exactly.
So
that's
he's
weird
gonna
to
roam
say.
free. Like, he's gonna sit there all game with an inside linebacker on him, which is your dream if you're a tight end like Gronk. So no reason for him not to be back. Make some more money. Maybe go back to the playoffs. Go back to the Super Bowl.
Maybe 1 or 2 years of his career, you could say that. Maybe when Hernandez was there. I don't think Edelman ever surpassed Gronk as, the number 1 target for Brady. And
just symbolically, it was never that kind of a threat because he wasn't the end zone threat, not the big play threat. Edelman might have been, the most reliable receiver because he never got hurt. He was always open. His route running was amazing, and he was the optimal security blanket. But he was not the threat that people had to deal with first.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't even a threat that Wes Welker was, to tell you the truth. But he was successful for a guy that, loves checkdowns, You never... Well, maybe when Brandon Cooks was there was probably the only time in the past few years that you see Tom Brady really taking shots downfield. And that one wasn't as much as maybe even average quarterback in the league. But Tom Brady doesn't go downfield, and...
That's what he was. Listen, he's made for this exact system.
It is. It's perfect.
He's a classical, old school. Not because he's old, but he's a last millennium style West Coast quarterback. Right? He's a Joe Montana quarterback, and that's what he's been, what he's learned all his life, and he's still executing it very, very well with the experience that he has, and with the receiving talent, it works. It's hard to stop.
Yeah, it is. What if Phillip Rivers would have made his way to Tampa instead of Tom Brady? Would he have this success?
It's tough to say because they're both quarterbacks in very similar stages. They're not in their prime anymore. They need a good team around them to succeed. The Colts were a decent team around to succeed. Now they ran into the Bills, couldn't quite get it done. I think the Colts and Bucs were in very similar places before the season, but I think the Colts just turned out to not really have just enough talent around. If you compare their receiving core you're leaning on Michael Pittman, the rookie, and you're an aging T.Y. Hilton, it's not quite. Defense was strong, but it's not quite the same, and the Buccaneers ended up having a stronger roster to support Tom Brady better. Swap places, I think we're looking at very similar situations.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's the system. I'm always looking for a reason why Tom Brady is not as great as everyone says he is. So,
he's the best. And listen, in one thing, and we have to acknowledge, he is the absolute greatest, which is just being clutch and just being there, being consistent. How many times has he gotten hurt? Like Jimmy Garoppolo, Matthew Stafford, like all those guys we're talking about, quarterbacks, they have missed more games with injury throughout their career than Tom Brady has through his entire career. And his career has been longer than anyone's. He's always there, and he is never terrible. That's the other thing. Every quarterback has bad games, right? Mm-hmm. Some great games, some bad games. Tom Brady, every single game is decent. He doesn't have a lot of great games, doesn't have a lot of bad games. He doesn't lose you the game. Give him a winning team, he will win. He's not going to be the one to lose. And that's that the consistency is very important for teams like the Bucs.
Yeah. There used to be
Gotta say that.
Yeah, exactly. There used to be some saying that, I forgot how it went. I know I'm going to word it wrong, but it was something about I'd rather have the quarterback that doesn't lose the game rather than the guy who whatever. I don't remember how it went, but something, something to that effect.
Depends on what team you are, for sure. The Packers have the opposite philosophy, and that it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't work against super teams. Like LeBron mostly did not beat the Warriors, the super team Warriors. Same idea.
Oh, yeah.
But that's our picks. We both have, you have the Chiefs, I have the Bucs. In my heart, I also have the Chiefs. I will definitely be rooting for the Chiefs. Go Chiefs. I like the Chiefs, but I have to pick the Bucs on paper for our bet. And now I'm conflicted because I don't know who to root for anymore. I also root for the Chiefs. I don't care that much about the bet. I want the Chiefs to win.
Well, think about it. Actually, I was going to say if you do lose this one, then we tie. But actually, I will have 2 games over you in the playoffs, and I was only 1 game behind in the regular season. So, yeah, this is either tie or I take the win. So did we not pick?
We forgot to pick the Madden Pro Bowl, huh? That's
unfortunate. Yeah, we were talking about that too. Yeah,
we should have picked the Madden Bowl. That's rough. I think regular season counts twice though because there's a lot more games. So okay, I will graciously give you a tie there. Also, we have NFL awards to talk about next week because we made the picks last week, and we'll see how those shape up. But
definitely.
That's for the Super Bowl. Again, take the poll on my channel page, linked in the description. It's on my channel page under community tab. You can go find it and leave me a vote and a comment. Let me know who you think is going to win, who's going to make the difference, and maybe if you want to some prop bets, MVP, who's going to win the coin flip, which is, by the way, that's my favorite thing ever. You go to any bookie site, any odds maker, they'll have a bet where you can bet on the coin flip. But they'll keep the same fees. So you bet on a coin flip and you get 1.97 to 1 odds for both sides. Like, you are literally throwing money away in the purest possible form on a clear 50-50 bet. I love that it exists. But let me know what color Gatorade.
So many niche weird prop bets, like how long is the national anthem gonna last, or it's just
first to last note.
Yeah, like things that you really have absolutely no skill involved with. You cannot prepare for something like that. I mean, I suppose for how long you could look at the average amount and go with that maybe, but things like if you're betting on teams, you can look at their schedule. I mean, their record and their performance versus the other team's performance. But those weird bets, like, there's just no, like, it's just gambling addiction in my opinion.
It absolutely is. Like the coin flip one is the best in my opinion. It's great.
Yeah, it's like, that's literally 50-50.
Pay $2 and receive $1.97. Like that's the game. That is literally the game.
That's it.
It's my favorite. We have one more thing to talk about here. This came kind of a bombshell that came in before even the Super Bowl over Pro Bowl weekend. Matthew Stafford is a Los Angeles Ram, traded from the Detroit Lions for Jared Goff and a bunch of picks. They traded the house for Matthew Stafford. Opinions on that one?
Yeah, man. My very first thought was the Rams, made out and I don't know, man, because the more I think about it, it's kind of even. I was like, well, the Rams are going to be, at least deep playoff quality with Stafford. And considering they kind of were with Jared Goff, this could push them up to championship game, up to Super Bowl status, again. But you look at the Lions and you think, well, they just lost, they're getting Jared Goff, who was not near the quality of quarterback as Matt Stafford. But those 2 picks, I guess it all comes down to what they do with those 2 picks. So if they draft right with those 2, I could see both teams actually being better next season than what they are right now. And
I don't think the Lions are going to be better next season. I think they'll be better in the long run.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, you're not going to draft 2 rookies and then they come in and just dominate. But
exactly.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
So I think here's why the trade makes sense I'm trying to justify for both sides. So first of all, for the Rams, you think you have the roster, the playoff, the championship roster. You think you're lacking one piece, which is the quarterback, and you may well be right. Mm-hmm. And Matthew Stafford may well be that improvement because you've made it to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. That same roster with Matthew Stafford, for sure that they should have a chance or a good chance to make it as well. And by the way, the NFC West is going to be hellish next year. If you look at that division, there is 4 teams that could win double-digit games. And it's going to be a hell's game out there. You don't want to have the worst quarterback in that division. And maybe with Jared Goff you did, provided that, Jimmy Garoppolo was healthy every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I was asking you in the beginning, I think that's close, but yeah, maybe Garoppolo edges out Goff in the long run.
If he's healthy. Yeah. If he plays the same amount of games, he does. If not, then he probably doesn't. We'll see how what direction the Niners go with that. They still have some time with quarterbacks there. Matthew Stafford in LA. Also, one thing that has become apparent to me is that Les Snead hates first-round picks. The Rams trade away all their first-round picks. Do you want to take a guess at who the last player was they took in the first round?
In the first round, was it a receiver?
No, it was Jared Goff. It was Jared Goff himself.
Oh, Jesus. I thought
they've traded away this and next year's. For the Rams will not pick in the first round for 7 consecutive years.
My first guess was Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin was a first rounder, right?
I think so, but that was even earlier.
That was the year before Goff, I mean.
That was yeah.
Okay.
They had Sam Bradford that one time, and then Jared Goff is the last pick they picked in the first round. Not going to have one this year, not going to have one next year, most likely. So
no, not at all.
they don't like picking in the first round. Apparently, this better work out.
Yeah, but
because that window is closing. Like this better work out. If this ain't it. And then you have to keep paying people. People, are getting. We got Andrew Whitworth, Robert Woods. People are getting up there in age a little bit, and a lot of your contributors are. So you got to make it work for sure. Matthew Stafford is a good shot. This is an all-in move. Now they're putting their bet on one guy, and this better work because it's a big haul to give up for a quarterback. You only do that if you really think you're going to contend. Now for the Lions on the other side. I'm more optimistic in the long run, but I want to see how this organization ever catches itself. Like, we're cycling through head coaches, we're cycling through play callers, through draft picks, and now starting to cycle quarterbacks, the one constant you've had over the last decade. It's a tough road back. The capital is there, and here's what I'm thinking with the quarterback trade. If we're gonna have Matthew Stafford and lose and win 5 games a season, like you could win 5 games a season with Jared Goff. Like it doesn't make a difference. I'd rather have the 2 first-round picks if I'm gonna go 5 wins all season. And it doesn't matter who's my quarterback. So you can do that with Goff as well. Mm-hmm. They'll have to invest these picks and make them count. Try and rebuild. If Goff is not the guy, which he's in a tougher spot now. We'll see how they turn him around. If he's not your guy, you're gonna be looking at a quarterback sooner rather than later over the next year or two. And you better give him a roster by that point because you have the picks. You made decent picks last year, the previous years, but you better build him a roster if this team's gonna go anywhere. You don't wanna be the guy who drafts quarterbacks, surrounds him with garbage, and then surprise nothing happens because you gave a rookie nothing.
Well, here's
Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen.
Oh yeah, exactly. Here's another question, though. Kenny Golladay, how does he feel about this situation? He's up for getting paid this year. His contract is reaching the end, and Babytron is a valuable asset for a team that needs a great wide receiver. Now, I think
he wants to get paid.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And he will by someone if it's not the Lions. Can the Lions afford it, or did they just let him walk and then Jared Goff is worse off,
That's a tough question. I think Kenny Golladay wants out. He's gonna want out. Like, you take my quarterback away, the one guy, my best player. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to be a top 5 receiver here. Like, I can really be it. I want to go to a team. I will follow, to LA. I'll go somewhere else.
Oh, could you imagine if he goes and joins Robert Wood and Cooper Kupp down there? If they could afford that. Group. Yeah, if they could afford that, dude, that is an amazing. That's like Bucks level receiving core right there.
That's a serious group.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna wanna go somewhere else. The Lions gonna have to dish out serious money. They're gonna have to pay him more than anyone else for him to want to stay. That is very clear to me. So we'll see how that goes. But he's gonna be a valuable asset if he does hit free agency. He's gonna get paid for sure.
Yeah.
And the Lions have a lot of turning around to do.
Oh,
but
sure.
Let us know what you in the comments what you think about this trade. We also have Deshaun Watson, still hyped up. We'll end this early, but I will ask one question, and because I've heard a lot about this, the Colts quarterback for next season. I'm gonna give you a couple of names, and I'm just gonna let you pick your favorite. Okay.
Okay.
So who's gonna be the Colts' next quarterback? Starting the next season, is it going to be Deshaun Watson? Is it going to be Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, or Andrew Luck?
Oh man, I think. Well, okay. If I were the Colts, Deshaun Watson, of course. That is the best quarterback in those group of names. I know Andrew Luck is what he is, but I don't know that he can come back after this long absence, after only playing one of the last 5 seasons. I don't know that he's just going to come back and be the Andrew Luck that he used to be. And we know how good Deshaun Watson is with a horrible team that had absolutely nobody left to throw to by the end of the season. He was still a top 5 quarterback. And on the Texans, as a matter of fact, they didn't even have a coach at the end of the season. So, yeah, I would go for Deshaun Watson first and foremost. Now, if that fell through and some other team has already snagged Deshaun Watson by that time, then yeah, I'm going to see if Andrew Luck can come back. And I don't know. I mean, if I had to put money on it right now, I would say that Andrew Luck's probably never coming back.
No.
So
he's retired.
Yeah.
I think he has no reason to come back.
Number 3, that's tough. Who was it? Darnold and who else?
Cousins and Darnold.
Cousins and Darnold. Is Cousins? Is his contract up now?
It's being debated. They might want to trade him, like the Jared Goff situation.
Yeah. I'd go with Cousins. I think I would, because I believe that Darnold could be great in the right situation. Well, that is a great offensive line to put him behind. Now, there's no doubt about that. So he could actually grow into the quarterback that he's going to be. But I think we have seen more from Kirk Cousins as far as reliability and that anyone. I don't know, man. Kirk Cousins behind an offensive line back like that, he could be possibly better than he ever was for Washington or the Vikings, So
maybe.
I think Darnold might be my last choice out of those.
All right. I will just say this one thing. I think Andrew Luck is more likely than Deshaun Watson. And I think Andrew Luck is never going to retire. Is never going to come back out of retirement in a million years. But he's more likely than Deshaun Watson, because if you trade Deshaun Watson in your division, I mean, go relocate to Mexico and play some other sport. That's never gonna happen. No way.
It is the Texans.
It is the Texans. You never know. But Bill O'Brien isn't there anymore, and he was typically the one to make those sorts of moves. So you don't trade Deshaun Watson. You want to trade him to the NFC, it's way far away. I don't know, some team on the West Coast or something.
Or
I don't know.
East
He looks.
or the
I've
South.
heard he looks good in red. I don't know.
He does, yeah. Like
you wanna
red and black.
Red and maybe gold. Gold is a nice. It's a nice additional color to red. I have been told. I'm pretty sure he likes gold. You know, he's getting paid a lot of money. Gold, he suits him very well.
You know, he grew up right here in Georgia, right? You know, right near Atlanta.
Yeah, a lot of football players. A lot of football players do that.
Yeah,
that's true. He's gonna go somewhere, but it's not gonna be the Colts. They will never trade him in the division. I think that's it for this week. Thank you for watching, everybody. You have anything to add, first of all, Smoke?
I think that's it for this week.
Got the awards coming up, so we'll be keeping an eye on that one. Let us know your pick for the Super Bowl for Deshaun Watson's destination opinions on Stafford. Go take the poll once again on my community page and tell me who you think will win. Other than that, thank you for watching the video, and we are going to see you in the next one.
Doses.